This is one of the most deceptive speeches I've ever heard by a president. But before I go into the deep deception, I want you to listen to Rachel Maddow, who did an initial crack of fact checking. By the way, it is a very small crack of fact checking because the entire speech was really devoid of truth. And that is verifiable, quantifiable. The speech was basically a litany of lies. But here are the first fact checks from Rachel Maddow.
For the record, the worst inflation in this country was in 1980. For the record, the economy that he was left by President Biden was not a catastrophe. It was literally the best economy in the world. It was described by The Economist magazine as the envy of the world. That was the economy that was left to Donald Trump by Joe Biden. For the record, Social Security is not paying benefits in large numbers to 300-year-old people or 250-year-old people or 200-year-old people or 150-year-old people. In fact, the idea of Social Security as a bastion of massive fraud and overpayment is completely false. For the record, U.S. auto company CEOs are not psyched and delighted and so excited about President Trump's economic policies, including his tariffs. Take, for example, the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, who said that Trump's tariff policies would, quote, blow a hole in the U.S. auto industry that, quote, we've never seen. The president flat out lied about U.S. versus European spending to support what used to be our allies in Ukraine. The U.S. has committed about $125 billion to Ukraine's defense. Europe has committed about $259 billion. The president radically misstating the character and quantity of our relative support for what used to be our ally, now appears to be only Europe's ally and no longer ours. For the record, Joe Biden did not close over 100 power plants. There were more utility-sized power plants up and running in the United States when Joe Biden left office than when he achieved office. For the record, there is no EV mandate. For the record, oil and gas production in the United States hit all-time records under President Joe Biden. For the record, even Doge has never claimed that they have saved hundreds of billions of dollars in savings. The largest items they have claimed to achieve as savings in the U.S. budget have been debunked and they've been taken down, but even they don't falsely claim hundreds of billions of dollars worth of savings. For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that. This was in the midst of him praising Doge. The Doge cuts, among other things, have cut off funding for ongoing research into pediatric cancer. For the record, I will note that Donald Trump did admit in his remarks today explicitly that Elon Musk is the head of Doge. And while that comes as no surprise to anybody who's been following the facts of this matter, that will end up in court because that is directly contrary to what the administration has overtly sworn to a federal judge about the leadership of Doge. I should also note, and this doesn't have to be for the record, I'll just note it for our own experience tonight, that at that point in the speech, when the president talked about how we will no longer be ruled by unelected bureaucrats, Democrats in the chamber pointed and laughed at Elon Musk. Unelected bureaucrat.
Now, you know what is so deceptive about this speech? We know that the president has, through Doge, has stopped cancer research in not stopped it, but froze it, cut it, all of that at once. Yet he brings a kid that has cancer, what cancer research of the past has done, help that kid live. We know that he pardoned a bunch of police killers, police attackers, feces-laden folks onto the Capitol. We know he pardoned those folks. Then he talks about law and order and loving the police and talk about solving or talk about making a crime one who kills police officers and others a capital offense. But at the same time, he pardoned these criminals. He went ahead and talked about wanting peace, yet at the same time talking about taking Greenland, taking the Panama Canal. So as he is talking through one side of his mouth in this particular speech, what he has done over the 43 days that he has been president was a total difference of that. Social Security. Oh, I'm not going to charge you tax on Social Security. Guess what? Most people who get Social Security don't pay any taxes at all. It's the rich people who get Social Security that generally end up paying taxes to defer some of the other income that they not defer, but because of all the other incomes that they get. So this speech was really designed to go at his weaknesses. But unless you really are not informed, it'll work. But for those who are informed, it is impossible for it to work. Let's get busy and tell the truth. Let's make America understand that this guy's a clear and present danger. This guy's an autocrat. This guy's a dictator, somebody that we, the people, will stop.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.